Hey guys, Hannah from Destined for Adventure here. Welcome to this live stream. I'm going to be answering some questions about solo female van life in Mexico. I did a post back on my Facebook page a while ago and I got a bunch of questions and I've been wanting to get around to this, so here goes. Let's see. All right. The first question I got is about parking, like where do I park? So I use an app called iOverlander that has lots of different types of places to park, such as paid campgrounds, free campsites, city parking, all kinds of different things like that. And so I can look at different reviews and see what's going to meet my needs. And then what do I eat? It just depends on where I am and what kinds of amenities I have access to. So let's see. So this past week, just to give you guys an example, I had some leftover carne asada and some roasted potatoes from when I saw some friends. So I had leftovers. I had yogurt and granola and fresh fruit for breakfast most days. I had like some tortilla chips and guac with beans. I had rice with mango for breakfast one day. What else did I have? I went out and got gorditas in town a couple of times. So it just depends. There's a variety of different things depending on like what I have access to. Let's see. How do I take care of the animals, like their walks, bathroom, and feeding? Well, pretty similarly to what I would do if I lived in a house or an apartment. I take them for their walks twice a day and potty breaks in between. I am kind of getting the hang of van. So I would say that the first couple of weeks that I lived in the van parked outside of my old apartment, it was very challenging. But now I'm trying to find places where I can let the dogs run around outside during the day, and even the cats can sometimes go in and out from the van. I'll leave the passenger window down when I'm around, and so that like just letting them stretch their legs, but obviously that's not always possible depending on where we are and what we're doing. For feeding, I feed them twice a day, dry food and usually wet food depending on what I can get my hands on, or sometimes tuna. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty similar to what you would do if you live in a house. It's just another thing to think about. Let's see. Safety concerns. Yeah, so I would say in general, Mexico is a pretty safe place to travel. Most people are very kind and helpful. But just like anywhere in the world, you're going to want to take precautions and do things in a smart and not overly risky way as much as you can. So that's one of the reasons that I like to have my dogs with me. They're also a great company and get me out for exercise and help me to meet people as well. They're a great conversation starter. But they do help me feel a lot safer just knowing that when I'm asleep, like if anything weird happens, like they will definitely bark and wake me up. Um, but yeah, I mean, I haven't had too many safety concerns. I think I don't want to do like a whole video on this, but there are some Facebook groups for people who are traveling in Mexico. You can get like area specific tips there. And just, generally just kind of being aware of your surroundings and taking precautions is always a good thing, letting someone know where you are and that sort of thing. But overall, I mean, it's not a big concern for me. Let's see. Do I get any sleep at night with all of the commotion going on? Yeah, it depends on where I am. So when I was sleeping in front of my old apartment, there were a lot of nights that I didn't get a lot of sleep just because it was a pretty highly trafficked road. A lot of people coming and going, walking, driving, some street dogs, just things like that. So those kinds of things tend to keep the dogs up and barking, which I mean, that's one of the reasons that I want to have them, but certainly it doesn't mean that I always like when they're barking, especially if they're barking for 2 hours straight. But yeah, most of the time we get pretty good sleep. Most of the time we stay in places that are pretty quiet and pretty safe. Um, but yeah, there are certainly nights that I don't sleep very well, and it's part of life, I guess. I mean, if it was, there's give and take. So, but yeah, like for example, where I am parked now, I'm about to leave today, but I'm in which is in the state of San Luis Potosi. This is a Pueblo Mágico. It's a pretty neat town. It's just this, like right after you come through the tunnel to enter the town, there's like this big parking lot that has a view over the town. And then this is where I've been parked for this last week. And then you could walk into town. Here it's been pretty quiet at night, although there are some street dogs that pass by. We'll have that kitchen knife somewhere within reach just in case if I might need it. I'll also park with my van like facing out and have a clear path to the driver's seat. So in case if anything weird happens in the night, I can like easily and smoothly get out and, keep all of my van items, my stuff inside the van when I'm sleeping at night. So if I need to go, I can just go. Um, and beyond that, I mean, yeah, just regular safety precautions, like don't carry all your valuables with you and like close the curtains to the van when I'm not in the van, make sure the doors are locked. Um, yeah, that sort of thing. If you guys have any like specific questions about certain scenarios, let me know. But, just kind of, I want to stay alive too. So, that's just something that it's important. Where are you allowed to park and how long you can stay there? Well, in Mexico, you can literally park just about anywhere legally as long as it's not someone's private property. And if it is their private property, if they give you permission to park there, then you could park there. You can even park sometimes at like supermarkets, for example, overnight. I haven't done that before, but I have parked at supermarkets for a couple of hours. You can park, particularly if you're in the city, along like city parks. There's usually a lot of parking there. And that would be a place that wouldn't be too disruptive to the locals. Like, you're definitely not going to want to park in front of someone's house or apartment unless you know the person that lives there, because that's going to certainly raise some red flags. So the best place to park, but like, yeah, along city parks could work. I've done that before. I've stayed one night at a gas station. I mean, but it was really like a very large, very nice, very safe rest area. So you can park there just overnight. Like if you park in front of the city park or something, like as long as you want, I mean, as long as you're not disturbing people, the police might come by to check on you or see what you're doing or ask some questions. But unless somebody like really complains, and even if they do, like unless the police tell you to move, you don't have to move. If you park like in nature, sometimes there are pull offs like along highways or different roads, and those are all fair game. I'm going to be parking near a lake tonight if all goes well, or tomorrow night. And yeah, you can just stay there as long as you want. I mean, it's Mexico is an adult's playground. You can do pretty much anything. What kind of insurance do you need? Yeah, that's a good question. So I purchased my van here in Mexico, so I need to have Mexican car insurance on my van, which is it's registered. If you were bringing an American or other foreign plated car into Mexico, you would need to have whatever registration is required, or whatever insurance is required by your registration in your home country, as well as Mexican auto insurance. Now, I mean, this van is old. It's a 1998 van, so I think there's only so much coverage you can get. It's not very much, but I have insurance on the van. I have also, that one is mandatory. I have also traveler's insurance with Safety Wing. It's around $40 a month. It does cover COVID, and that covers me anywhere in the world except in the US, only up to 15 days when I arrive. So if I do go to the US for an extended period of time, I will pick up some additional health insurance coverage while I'm there. But honestly, here in Mexico, like the travel insurance is for peace of mind. I've never had to use it. Honestly, whenever I go for like dental cleanings or go to the doctor for a checkup or anything like that, that's all like I just pay cash because it's so cheap. A dental cleaning is anywhere from $20 to $30. Depending where you go, it could be less or more. Um, Going to the doctor is, very little money. Veterinary care is very affordable compared to the US. So I just pay cash for those things. Um, what other? Oh, yeah. I also have renter's insurance for my van. So I have my renter's insurance with USAA. Luckily, my grandfather was in the military, so I'm eligible for USAA. I've been using them for so many years. And renter's insurance actually covers your possessions anywhere that you are in the world, even if you're not at that address where your policy is held. So they also cover your possessions when they're in your vehicle. That's about $20 a month. So that kind of helps with peace of mind. My car insurance was like around $300 for the year. If I drive my van to the US, I'll have to get an additional US insurance policy, which I can get from the Mexican company to bring my van into the US. But yeah, those are the insurances that I have. It kind of just depends on like your comfort zone and, if you have any pre-existing conditions and that sort of thing. Like I tried to get a bigger insurance policy for this van, but it's not possible because it's very old. What licensing requirements are you required to maintain? So, I guess this means about driver's licenses. So I just have my Maryland driver's license that I've had since I was 16 years old, and that is valid here in Mexico. So if you need to show, that, you can show it. I think I had to show it when I registered the van, or I don't think I had to show it for the insurance, which is weird. Maybe I did. Yeah, I can't remember because I was sending a lot of documents and stuff. So, yeah, so I just have my regular Maryland driver's license. I didn't have to get a Mexican driver's license. I usually have an international driving permit. It's not required for Mexico, but it expired, I think, last year, and I haven't renewed it yet because I need to get more passport photos. But anyway, but I'm only going to be here in Mexico and the US, so that's fine. What maintenance is required on the van, and what is the plan to keep up with maintenance? Yeah, good question. So far, I took the van to the mechanic and had him just fix everything. And so far, the van has been running really, really good. Thank you, Marshmallow. Haven't had to do any maintenance yet. I will take it for an oil change here pretty soon. Um, and beyond that, I think I'll just, I just pay attention to any little quirks in the vehicle. That's a really good thing to do no matter what kind of vehicle you have. And yeah, keep up with the periodic maintenance. So I just got the tires inflated, stuck a while ago, and they got a little bit low. And then I checked it again like a week later, and they seem to be holding steady. So I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I'll take it to my trusted mechanic before I head up to the US for the summer, assuming I continue with that plan. That needs to be fixed. But so far, like with any older vehicle, you take care of things as you need to, and you just try to be proactive if you notice anything is unusual. Oh yeah. So Danny said, "Tell me about friends and buddies and kind people you meet." Oh man, so many, so many. It's really nice. I tend to make friends with people that have or like pets because people comment to me about my pets. Just right now in this town, I met this really nice girl. She's 10 years old, but she's very mature and responsible. She's the youngest kid in the family. And so she's been coming around. We've been walking the dogs together. We went for gorditas the other night. And yeah, it's nice to have company. Her mom is super nice too. They have a stall selling souvenirs like right near where I'm parked. So that's how we met. I also met a really nice American couple, and I just shared their van tour today on this channel. So thank you to my friend Deanna for editing that, and shout out to my friends Lily and Skylar. They were super nice. I got to hang out with them for, I guess, about a week or so up at El Portero Chico. I met a ton of people at El Portero Chico, a bunch of Americans, some Mexicans, some really nice people. I actually happened to bump into people a couple of times. Let's see who's else I've met. When I was in Monterey, I made friends with my veterinarians. They're awesome. And their, significant others, or well, they're all married, so I should just say their husbands. Well, they're not all married. One's not married. Anyways, and I made, yeah, I just, you know how it is. Like you just meet people when you're traveling and you start up a conversation, and sometimes it goes somewhere and you hang out, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's all good. So, yeah, I've met a lot of people, and I feel like I've only been traveling for a short time, so I'm sure I will meet more people as it goes on. But yeah, it's really nice. Some people have just been super kind, just doing things out of the goodness of their heart. Uh, I don't want to like make this live stream extremely long, so I won't go into more detail than that. But yeah, tons of really wonderful people. Have I encountered any police and military checkpoints? And have I been asked to pay any fines? Not on this trip with the van, but when I was driving around Mexico in my Honda Civic a couple of years ago, yes, I encountered police and military checkpoints. They're usually pretty simple. They usually just ask for your documents and then wave you on. But it could be that they ask to search your vehicle. I've been searched when I've crossed the border a couple of times coming into Mexico, never going into the US. And it's usually pretty easy. It takes a couple of minutes and, just be polite and respectful with people that are just doing their job. Have I been asked to pay any fines? Yes, I did have to unfortunately pay one a couple of years ago. Oh, I do have a story. Yeah, it's a long story, but anyway, I don't, yeah, it's a long story if I've been asked to pay a fine. Right. Okay. I'll just tell it because I feel like if I don't tell it now, then it's going to be, just unanswered. So I was driving back from Mexico or from the US really late one night, which is not advisable. And I got really close to my apartment and I was like 5 minutes away from my apartment. It was like midnight or something crazy like that. And I don't recommend doing that. But anyways, apparently I like went up a ramp that was for buses only, even though there was no sign. Like it's possible. It could have been. I mean, it was dark. I was tired. Who knows? But anyway, but the officer was very friendly the whole time. Like I didn't feel unsafe at all. But the problem is, the thing is, it's so weird because usually I can understand like 99% of Spanish speakers that I meet, and I can understand practically everything they say. But this particular police officer that pulled us over, I could not understand what this guy was saying. I kept asking him to repeat himself so many times, and like I could not understand what he was saying. So, anyways, long story short, the person that I was traveling with went and talked to him, and he was telling me that, oh, we went up the ramp and it's going to be, I don't know, I forgot how much, like $15 or something worth of fine, and it'll take a while to go to the police office, but we could pay it now for, I don't remember, half the price. I don't remember how much it was. Maybe it was going to be $30 and $15 or something like that. And the thing is that I had $8 in cash and I had like $1 in Mexican pesos. So I was like, well, anyway, yeah, I don't recommend doing this. I would recommend that you just tell them, okay, I'll follow you to the police station. Like, it doesn't matter that it's going to take a long time. Anyway, yeah. Anyways, ended up paying the guy $8 and went on our way, and it was fine. But of course, whenever you feed these mordidas, that keeps that behavior going, which is not a good thing. That nobody wants that. So, and you should never ever suggest to bribe someone. So I'm not proud of that, but that happened. But one time, I don't think I mentioned this yet on YouTube. I don't know. When I was parked in front of my old apartment, it was like the very last day I was waiting for my documents to come in the mail. 8 armed policemen or military, I'm not sure which, like surrounded me because a neighbor had reported my van as suspicious. So that was pretty intimidating to say the least. But in the end, they just had a bunch of random questions. I answered all of their questions. I asked them, do they need to see any documentation or do they need to see inside the vehicle? And they said, no, you've been, very cooperative. So I said, okay, well, if you need anything, I'll be here. So just let me know. And it was completely fine, but it was definitely intimidating. Let's see. What is my daily, weekly, monthly allowance/expenses? Yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to record another video on this for another topic because I want to track everything for you guys. But I will say that it's including all of my bills. So like my insurance and just like personal bills and bills for my business, it's probably around $1,000 to $1,500 a month. You can definitely do it cheaper, obviously, if you're not feeding all these animals and things like that. And of course, there are certain one-off expenses and stuff like that too. But I'm going to make another video for you guys. Honestly, like living in a van in Mexico is not necessarily cheaper than just living in an apartment because you can get apartments for cheap and gas is really expensive here. But it is a way to see more of the world. Okay, let's see. Mary, one of my van life friends, said, is it doable if you don't speak Spanish? I would say yes, But the more Spanish you speak or the more willing you are to speak the language, the easier it's going to be for you. So if you have a couple of phrases and you know a little bit of vocabulary and you have some like apps at the handy, you'll be okay. And certainly in most of the major cities, you're going to find young people that do speak English. Now, I don't like go looking for people that speak English because I speak Spanish. So I can't tell you how frequent that will be, but I do get the impression that most of the time, except maybe in some small towns, you're going to find someone that speaks at least a little English. And if you speak at least a little Spanish, that's going to make your life way easier. So I certainly encourage you to speak Spanish and to learn as much Spanish as you can. You're going to have a much richer experience and a much easier experience here. But if for whatever reason you can't or you're, whatever, don't let that be the reason that will stop you. And then let's see. I don't know if you can see Mr. Chico here. And then Ruth said, what's the hardest thing to give up or what will you miss the most about having a permanent address or like a physical address? Yes, I did have an apartment in Mexico before I moved into the van. There's a couple things that I miss. I guess, well, the most difficult thing is not being able to receive mail and packages or like you can, but you have to plan ahead and it's not as easy as just like, oh, I'll order it online, wait for it to come to my house or, anything like that. Like when you're waiting for documentation to come, excuse me, to come in the mail or anything. But what I miss the most, I would say that it's difficult to maintain relationships when you're nomadic. And this has been something that, I've been dealing with for a couple of years. So, yeah, you can definitely talk to your friends online or on the phone, and you can definitely go and visit people from time to time, or maybe they come and visit you. But it's not the same as if you live in the same place and you get to see people on a regular basis. Now, obviously, with COVID, things are different anyway. But yeah, it's hard to maintain relationships, I would say. And beyond that, like showers and cooking and having a refrigerator. So I do take showers and I do cook and I do have a cooler, but it's not like, you have to plan ahead for it. It's not just like, oh, I can just take a shower whenever I want. It's going to be there. So yeah, that's been not a difficult adjustment, but just certainly when I do have a shower, then I'm like really happy. And I also wanted to answer questions from this wasn't listed there, but I know everyone wants to know. I wanted to save this for last, where I go to the bathroom and where I shower. So the showers, I just took one today, which I'm really happy about. Um, where I'm parked now in this parking lot, there's a hotel and they have bathrooms that you can pay a quarter to use or which is 5 pesos, or you can pay to use the shower. It's 30 pesos, which is about $1.50. And I also tipped the man because he had to move a lot of stuff out of the shower, like he was using it for storage. And also, anyway, yeah. So it's on the side of a hotel, so I can shower there. I showered there this week twice. I've also stayed at paid campgrounds where I've been able to shower. Otherwise, if I'm like just at a place that's doesn't have a shower, then I will baby wipe myself and change my clothes, and I will like wash my hair in the park, and that that'll keep you fresh for a little while. So there's a lot of different options. If you have the iOverlander app, you can also find more places to shower. There's not as many like gym chains here in Mexico as there are in the US. Like I used to have a Planet Fitness membership when I traveled the US and that was super easy to shower. But Planet Fitness, I think there's like 3 locations in Mexico or something. Like it's not a big thing, but potentially at gyms that could be something. For a long time when I was in the state of Nuevo Leon, gyms were permanently closed because of COVID, so that wasn't really an option. But yeah, different places, you find a way. And I know everybody wants to know where I go to the bathroom, so of course it's going to be easiest if I can find a public restroom to use. Sometimes those are pay restrooms. They're more likely to be like clean and give you toilet paper. And sometimes those are free restrooms, which you're going to have to bring your own toilet paper and they're, questionable, but also manageable. Sometimes I go to the bathroom like in nature. For example, yesterday I was hiking and I really had to go to the bathroom, so I went to the bathroom in nature. Um, But the most common, I mean, those are, from time to time, or of course, if I'm at a campground, like I'm going to use the campground bathroom. But the most common is that I won't have access to those things and I will need to go to the bathroom. So I have a pee bottle and funnel, and I will just use that, and then I will dump it out when it gets full and clean it with a little bit of vinegar. And then, yeah, clean myself and sanitize my hands and so on. And then you kind of, I think my friends Lily and Skylar mentioned this in their van tour video, and it's totally true. But I mean, that happened to me when I was in an apartment too. But you kind of, your body gets on a schedule. So for whenever you have to go number two, like you're probably going to get on a schedule and you're probably going to know, like, okay, such and such time of day or whatever, like, okay, it's going to be my time to go to the bathroom. And so I just use a bucket. It's my trash can also, but it's a bucket. I'll just double bag it. I'll go to the bathroom in there if I have to go number two, and then I'll just throw it out as soon as I can. So usually right away, but that's not always the case. But yeah, and that you got to do what you got to do. They make like, there's so many different types of toilets. You can have a cassette toilet or so many different types, but honestly, this is working out just fine for me. So yeah, why fix it if it ain't broke? Anyway, guys, I hope this video was interesting for you. I don't know. Hope that cleared up some things for you guys. Let me know if you have any other questions. Like I said, I will eventually do another video on like Vanlife Mexico costs with a breakdown for you guys of everything. I think I'm going to do like a month where I just track gas and camping expenses and like van expenses, pet expenses, food, eating out, souvenirs, activities, like my other bills, like internet, that's a big one, my cell phone bills. So I have internet to work and things like that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. If you have another question that I did not answer, just drop it in the comments and I'll make another video of this type in the future. Take care. Bye.